Good morning, everybody. As usual, running behind. Let's go get this posted on the website. We're going to play some Baritone Ukulele. Dun, 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 dun. Editing the page. Set this down. Slow. Scroll down. Link, space, control, V. Scroll back up. Scrolls magically down for no purpose whatsoever. Link. Enter. Edit. Settings. Open a new window, update and update. And I apologize for being late, everybody. We'll start in a couple minutes. I was fixing a situation with a piece of sheet music. These things happen. Me and I'll Be Home for Christmas it's going to be the death of me. I feel pretty confident. There's two measures that I cannot figure out. And we've been working on it and working on it and working on it. So, and what are you going to do? We'll get everybody in here momentarily. They'll let me know if the sound is good, and we'll get started on Baritone Ukulele. I'm sitting way too close to the screen this morning. I'm going to bend this down just a smidge. See if we can get to a little bit better. Well, that cuts my head off, right? There's less forehead, more ukulele, right? How about there? Something like that. Hey, Cindy, welcome in. Let's see. I know. Sorry, I am running behind all morning, as always. So really, I'm on time. Gary time. You should know when I'm late that I've been working on sheet music, and I haven't been out being crazy. Anyways, one of these days, these strings are going to settle in, and we're going to sound nice. I've been humidifying this room, and everything's expanding and getting all saturated. Henry decided he needed to come in, and then he was here for 30 seconds, and then he left. Lanny, good morning. Lanny got some new strings, so he'll be out of tune today. Vic, hello, Vic. Welcome in. Vic was in the earlier class. She knows that I needed a shave real bad, so I ran and shaved, and then I'm late to this class. Shaved, fixed some sheet music, and then showed up late. Worst teacher ever. Diane, good morning. Says the sound is good. Cindy time. Good morning, Linda. And Baritone Ohana. Very nice. Very nice. Sounding dreary up there. All right, it's dreary up in Illinois today, guys. Ugh, sad. Right, kind of sad. Hey, remind me at the end of class to tell you again, for those people who show up late, that I will not be here tomorrow. My haircutting guy had a hip surgery a few weeks ago, and so I couldn't get my hair cut for a while. So I know it's hard to tell when you look like this that this is bad, but this is bad. And so I'm gonna go. He was able to find a slot where thinks he's gonna be able to stand up tomorrow. He's been going in a little bit. I think he's stronger than he acts, but so I'm gonna go get my haircut tomorrow during this time slot. So I won't be here tomorrow. So we're going to look at our baritone stuff today and make sure you have enough to keep you busy. You still show up, you sit down, you open the laptop up. You don't necessarily need to connect to the internet, and then pull your sheet music out and you play, right? So don't change the time slot during your schedule. Just come and play your baritone for this hour. Just play it without me. You'll probably sound better without me. And then remember also tonight is Ukulele Orchestra for those of you guys that are members of the website. And that's another excellent opportunity for you to play some high level, scary, difficult orchestral stuff in a different way than we tend to focus on stuff here in the day. And if you're not a member of the website, you should be. Website is jollyrogerukulele.com. All of you know that, I think, but not a bad idea to send people there. And by the way, that's Christmas time, and these aren't terribly expensive. You can get them starting around $90. The Mahalo ones that I carry are just fine for baritones, for getting started on baritone. And yeah, once you get to where you learn how to play, you may upgrade, but you may not. So, um, uh, so be thinking about that for Christmas gifts, right? Let's spread baritone throughout the world. Let's see. Jack is in, and Cindy says aloha. And Connie is here this morning. Connie got a new ukulele, new baritone, a kala, absolutely beautiful. She put strings on it this weekend. It's going to sound terrible today, Connie. So I know Cindy meant to say aloha, Jack. So windy, 15 miles per hour, and cold, 64 degrees. Yeah, that's Northern California terrible weather, right? Good morning, Terry. Welcome in. So, guys, this week I'm going to be continuing to add to our list, but for today, what I'd like to do is just be going through our list. Let's take a vote, okay? I personally would like to continue working on Menuet in G major, the Menuet suite. I'd like to spend basically through the end of the season working on it, if it's okay with you. However, if you're like, I don't like that song, I don't want to play it anymore, I'm done with Petzold, and you say it with a heavy P, Petzold, then we won't play it. But if you're cool with it, I'd like to have that be a piece that we carry out until Christmas break. And so give me some feedback on how you feel about it. And it's okay to hate it. It's also okay to be for it, right? And just give me a general sense of that. I also judge based on who you are, right? Some of you I know better than others. And so if I know you well, I don't listen to you. No, that's not true. But I want to make sure you're not hating the Menuet, and that it's providing you some meaningful reason to pick up the baritone. On the other hand, if you're like, nope, that's not my thing, I don't want to do it anymore. So got 2 in favor. Let's see, and we'll wait just a minute to see if anybody else does. Otherwise, let's go ahead. How about this? Go ahead and open up your Menuet, and then we will see if anybody says it provides us with a cogent and well thought through heck no, then we won't do it. Otherwise, let's just play it. Oh, Carol's for it. Okay, so we got 3, 4, 0 against. I guess that's an overwhelming victory. You know how this ballot box stuffing thing works out these days. Apparently nobody does it. So apparently the results are true. Okay, so we have 4-0. Let's play Map Box Menuet Suite. We'll use it as our daily warm up and for until Christmas break, right? And so that should just give you a sense of, hey, I'm playing it better than when we started, and I'm playing something pretty legit, and I'm playing something that baritone ukulele players are not known for doing, which is playing really high level, very complicated pieces, and playing them well, hopefully. Okay, so again, no repeats during the week. We just play it top to bottom, ignore all the repeats, and play down through the bottom, and we'll get started here. Not fast, right? And again, if you are newer, play the melody, okay, Connie. Otherwise, see if you can get in some of the chord melody as well. If the tone gets too hard, you jump up to melody, go back down, and then when it looks like the melody or when the tough uke gets a little more reasonable, then you slide back down into that. Morning, Arlo. We're playing Bach's Menuet Suite in D and D minor for you guys. It's really Christian Petzold. Everything that's here is not true. It's not by Bach. It's not in G major. From the top, 1, 2, 3. 18. Measure 35. Measure 52. Measure 69. How are we feeling about that piece? How's it coming for you? Are you better at it today than you were 2 weeks ago? Or is it starting to flow a little bit? Is it starting to feel like music? Is it starting to feel like you should put on one of those white hats and walk around with your ascot on? Should feel very very baroque to you. And we played it slow. Nice steady pace, I thought, and hopefully starting to come together. You know, it's Monday morning, Cindy. You can make mistakes in other places, right? That's always the worst thing. You're like, oh, I'm playing this pretty well, and then you come back the next day and you're like, well, I'm playing the hard parts fine, but the easy parts are falling apart on me. So, yeah, it's Monday. I like it, but it still needs practice. Of course it does, right? So we are going to be practicing. I don't even remember how many more weeks we got until Christmas break. Let me take a look. Let's find out. How long are we going to be up to this? Let's see. Well, we got 2 full weeks, right? We got 2 full weeks, so that's 8 times of practice and 2 times in concert. So by December 18th, that's your goal. December 18th, that's your goal, to get this sucker where it just comes flying out of your ukulele like you are a rock star. So we got two more weeks of that, and then we'll probably show it. Beautiful. All right. Let's see. All right, let's start running. Let's just run down the list. And as I add stuff in this week, I'm trying to finish up ukulele stuff, which means that I also have plenty of, I've basically finished up with ukulele stuff. I have 1 piece left that I want to get done, but basically they've got enough. So I'm going to be working on converting some of their stuff into stuff for you guys. And let's go grab Angels We Have Heard on High and play that one this morning. All right. Yeah, just a 1-pager. The only thing my only note on Angels We Have Heard on High is I have a half or an eighth note rest in the tough uke of measure 14, which I don't know how that ended up there. So I took that out. Other than that, that's one's pretty straightforward. Remember, when you get to those glorias, you want to. It's easy to talk about, very hard to do, to get that smooth feeling. And so get it as smooth as you can, but it's a lot. It's easy to talk about. Make it smooth, and then you're like, yeah, easy to talk about, hard to do. Let's see. Linda says, what a Christmas break? When? How long? Wait a minute. Hold everything. No comment, Linda. I'll figure out. I need a break. I need a break. You don't need a break. So we'll figure. I haven't got anything figured out about that, but yeah, we're probably gonna have a break. All right. Angels We Have Heard. I know the pandemic's not taking a break, but Gary's fingers need a break. Angels We Have Heard on High. Just play it. Don't worry about the future. 1, 2, ready, play. Oh, guys, I skipped the whole measure. I finished measure 9. I was all proud of myself, and I skipped measure 10. Let's go from measure 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to 9. Okay. Linda's little sad face. I glanced up, I saw, and I was like, oh, I'm sad too. And I played poorly. All right. Focus. I want to go back and play it again. I'm going to play with Claw this time. Okay. Okay. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's play that again from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a little better. Finally cleared it up at the end. Isn't that a fun song? I like that song. I don't know why measures 9 and 10 keep kicking me to the curb, but it is. So, clearly as I'm playing through this and I'm playing, I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to get this ready for Christmas time. Measures 9 and 10, that's where I'm spending all of my time. We had a little bit of a talk in guitar class about effective practicing, and I think that's not unwise for us always to be thinking about that. Is angels we have heard on high, we're going to go through it, we're going to figure all this out, and then you find as you play through it a few times, man, I'm really fighting measure 9 and 10. My problem is I'm so excited to get the E chord or the B chord in at the end of measure 9. I keep forgetting to do the E minor chord in the beginning of 10. Well, so I just got to spend a little bit of time on that one section there. The rest of this is coming together for me. But be smart about practice when it comes to it's really easy to go in, play the top of the page, bottom page, top of the page, bottom page, make the same mistakes as you made yesterday, and then turn the page and go on to the next song. That's not really the smart way to do it. Play it till you really isolate where are my problems happening, and then come up with solutions for those little spots. And so that way, when you are then go back and play it, you've already worked on your trouble spots. And every song has a trouble spot. Frere Jacques, the very first song that I teach, right, has a trouble spot. And Row, Row, Row Your Boat has a trouble spot. And so all of those, every song has it. And so for me, and it's not necessarily always the same spot for everybody, but for me, no question, 9 into 10 is where my challenge with this piece is. And so I'm all excited. And then I'm forgetting get that E minor on. And so that's my next activity, is to really focus in on that. And it's saying, hey, you're adding in some extra note, turning it into the tough uke into magically into painful uke. So let's talk about that just a little bit, because it's a skill. As you get fully accustomed to playing tough uke, and you're like, yep, I can absolutely do that. That's when I talk to you all the time. Play it with your thumb first because it sounds pretty. Then go back and play it with your claw. Maybe not sound as pretty, but it's a skill you need to have. And that's when you get both of those two systems put together, that's when you start talking about drone notes, or painful uke, or finger style. What doesn't matter what you call it. What we're doing is holding this chord. So look at measure 1. It's D chord, D chord, D chord, 5, and then A chord, 3, D chord. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. So what it says on the paper is D, 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 5, A, 3, D. Okay, not in proper timing, but that's what's going on there. So then what I want to do, my drone note almost always is going to be index finger on the 3rd string. Okay, in part, there's a couple reasons why. 1, it works. 2, on ukulele, that is your low string, and so if I hit that, I'm rarely going to be competing with the melody note, and so I just have gotten where I'm just real comfortable with hitting that. Okay, it's not quite as simple as all I am making it out to be, but that's the idea. So let's start just with measure 1. You go D chord, pluck the 3rd string, pluck it again, 3rd string, pluck it, hit the 5, 3rd string, go to your A chord. Oops, where's my chord? Okay, now here's the problem. Measure 2, your first note's a dotted quarter note. So you have 2 eighth notes that are following that. It's a dotted eighth note is worth 3 eighth notes. So you hit your 5, now you hit your index, and then go to your middle, and then you go grab your melody note, and then back to your D chord. Now then, that note's a half note, so there's 3 eighth notes that trail that. So that's when you go index, middle, index. Okay, so let me show you through one. Please don't hate low G players. Jack, I don't hate you. I don't hate low G players. I don't like you. I want to pick a fight with you. I don't want. Of course, Jack. I don't want to meet Jack. Jack's from Illinois. He could take me out. But I'm from Colorado. What you're really doing is dropping in a low note. Try to keep it lower than the melody note so it doesn't compete. And then you're going to be using these guys as for every other eighth note that you need to play. So if I will go to measure 1 and measure 2, and just watch my right hand for just a second. Don't play. Then you'll see what I'm doing. Then we will go back and you do it. Okay. So here we go from the top. D, index, D, index, D, index, 5, index, A, index, middle, 3, D, index, middle, index. Okay. And that's how we do it. Okay. So now you put on yours and let's see if we can do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 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 bum. D, index, O, index, D, index, 5, index, 2, index, middle, O, D, index, middle, index. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. That's all I ever do, honestly, guys. It makes you sound, you know how when we talk, when you're first getting started and I say, all right, we're going to sing row, row, row your boat, but we're going to use this. Row, 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 row your boat gently down the stream. Sounds much fancier than row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Every single time a ukulele video rolls across my Twitter or my Facebook, is somebody doing that. Row, row, row your boat. And that's fine, super fun. It's a good way to get started. But with this, same exact system, except you make it fancy. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Okay, so that's where we get started. That's why we talk about arpeggios all the time. Then, when you get to a piece like this, where you're just adding in an arpeggio notes of whatever you're already holding over here, you're already, you're not going to move anything here. You're just adding in extra notes. Right, and that's all you're doing is just adding in arpeggio notes in between the notes that are written. And yeah, I could write those out for every single piece of music, but at some point it's like, well, if you have got tough uke down, if you are finally, if your instrument is making sense with tough uke, and you're also practicing your tablet, your claw position, now you're going to that next area of musicianship where you are improvising, right, around the chord shapes that you're playing. And there are higher levels of improvising, but at the end of the day, basically, that is what they're doing. They're either holding a scale shape and picking notes off of that, or holding a chord shape and picking notes off of that. And there's that's it. Improvising is not really improvising. It's just following the rules of music. And unless you're a high-level advanced jazz and you don't care that you sound like tin cans falling out of the back of a pickup truck, that's what you do, and that's what we all do. And so it's I'm tearing away the veil of the magic of music and showing you, it's just holding the chord and plucking. I can do it slowly with your explanation. Yeah, right. And so we'll be working on that as well as we progress into the future, because you guys are going to be the ambassadors for high level baritone music. And so I want you to be able to do all of the pieces and parts, and you're going to be taking this higher. And at some point, somebody's going to say, hey, sit down and show me what you're doing. I really like that. And I want you to be able to do that. All right, so that's enough for that song. That's we beat it to death. Let's go grab Angels from the Realms of Glory. Give us another chance to do exactly what we just did. Angels from the Realm of Glory. So this is another opportunity for you to do exactly what we just did. So let's run through it like we normally do and talk about all the levels that are available on this one piece of music. Cindy says, do you have time to give an example of a higher level variation? No. That I have to think through, Cindy. Honestly, I don't do it enough where I just let me think if I can give you a little bit of a I don't think I can just do it off the top of my head, to be perfectly honest. If I'm looking at Angels from the Realm of Glory, I'm in the key of G, right? And I have a C chord, and I have a D chord, and a G chord. Okay, so I am playing in standard issue G, B, G, A, B, C, and D. Okay, and so I know that as long as I'm in the key of G, I can play any notes I want to. And so what you'll notice, you go to the jazz club They play the song, and then at some point they break into solos. And what those solo players are doing is nothing more than playing the scale, jazz scales, which add in extra weird notes and will modulate from key to key. But if you're playing Angels from the Realm of Glory and you know you're in the key of G, you've got this scale. You pick any notes off of that scale, and they're going to pretty much work in between your moments. And often you'll add in weird tones, like the D is part of the scale that it's not a D for you guys. This C note here. Good boys. D G. That's an A note here. Sorry, I'll get there. That A note isn't ideal in your G chord, right? But it sounds cool. So now I'm going to say, all right, instead of adding in this, instead of just doing a plain old G chord, I'm going to add in an extra note. So now you're getting in all these other additional cool tones. They're just straight out of your scale, right? G, A, B, C, D. Okay, those at your scale, F sharp. But now, instead of playing just plain old chord notes, you're going to add in some of those. So you might add in that note or this note. Okay, so it's a way all of a sudden you sound way different than everybody else, but really all you're doing is adding in the wrong chord, the wrong scale notes at any given time, or whatever scale notes you can reasonably reach, and you end up with a much more complex song. That's where jazz comes from. And so all of a sudden you start adding in all these weirdo notes. Guys who do that every night in the jazz clubs, they get very comfortable with it. I don't hardly ever do it because I don't really like the sound, to be honest. I want to think everything through on that. And so that's what's going on there. At some point I'll sit down with a song that's fairly cooperative and see if we can't just talk about the full, adding in your full scale. And then, they do other things like adding in minor scales and all that stuff as well underneath their scales that don't necessarily belong. That's where Moon River is. Moon River, you have, in the melody, you have it in C, but the accompaniment is kind of in G, and so that's why there's all these kind of collisions at moments of sounds that don't make sense together, and it takes your brain a little bit of time to be like, what is he up to? And then, of course, it continuously resolves because they're complementary keys. So very high level stuff. It's not something that I'm going to be teaching, just on a daily basis, because that's not, frankly, at that point, when you're thinking at that level, you're probably thinking that you are all that, right? And so it's time to step up and prove it. Right? But in order to do that high level improvising, you have to have your scales memorized. That's one thing that goes without question, is that your G scale and your C scale and your D scale and your A scale, and where all those notes are all around on your fretboard. And of course, that's a very learnable skill. It's just kind of boring to learn. All right, Angels from a Realm of Glory. Let's go through in the individual pieces. Okay, grab your chords. Angels from the realms of glory, wing your flight o'er the earth. Ye who sang creation story, now proclaim me done, 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 and worship, come and worship. Bum, 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 bum. Oops, sorry. Bum, bum, bum. So you're planning, I'm just goofing around with my right hand, but you would be thinking about, I'm going to go play this in church, right? I want them to think I know what I'm doing. I got a beautiful singing voice. I take my baritone, I take my basic chords, and I'm singing. And instead of doing angels from the realms of glory, that's how you sing it in the Sunday school class. When you go to the main sanctuary and they're like, Jack is a serious musician. He's going to come in, and they're going to want to sing along with you. So you want to continue to keep this steady beat, but you want to sound fancy. And so instead of bam bam bam, which this is that kind of a song, march in and they're all like that. But when you're in the main sanctuary, right, you got to sound a little more sophisticated, and that's where your arpeggio picking comes in. Angels from the realm of glory, wing your flight o'er the plain, o'er the earth. He who sang creation's story, now proclaim da-da-bum bum, ba-dum ba-dum bum. Okay, so that's pretty fast there. And if it's going to be real fast, like those chord changes in A, don't be continuing your arpeggio pattern. Switch to bum bum bum. Now you sound like something. Okay, let's go through that. Just doing that. By the way, you notice I grabbed the bottom three strings. That comes from the ukulele world, where those three strings are in order. On baritone, you can grab the upper three strings. Now it's going to be deeper, more resonant, not going to compete with your voice at all. And let's do it that way. 1, 2, ready, play. Angels from the realm of glory, wing your flight all the earth. We who sang creation story, now proclaim da-da-bum bum bum. Come and worship, come and worship, worship Christ. Maybe, try different things with that. When you see a chord change at the end of a measure, you're like, shoot, that messes up my system a little bit. You might skip that. You could come in with come and worship, come and worship, worship Christ, the newborn King. Just ignore them. Just, when you see a chord at the end of a measure, you're like, that's going to screw up my arpeggio pattern. Just ignore them. Just ignore them and move on to the next thing. Nobody's going to come and with their, until you're in the Steinway competition for piano, nobody's going to come with the book in hand. And frankly, those of you who go to the Steinway competition with the book in hand, you should be lit on fire, right? Enjoy the music. All right. No, don't light people on fire. That's really not a good idea. All right. Let's play the one last time through. Pick your method of playing. Let's play. The book should be lit on fire, not the person. That's the solution. Let the artist become the artist. Let's play the last time through. We're out of time. I can't believe how fast time goes here. 1, 2, ready, play. There it is. Yeah, messed up the ending. There we go. A lot of high level skills we talked about today. And again, find your level and find where you are and get comfy with that level, and then be working on the next level, right? So if playing melody is still a thing for you, work on that. If playing tough uke is still a thing for you, you work on that. And then at some point, back them down and say, oh, I'm tired of working on tough uke all the time. I'm going to just play melody and have a nice time. And that's fine, right? It's Christmas music. It's supposed to be somewhat enjoyable and somewhat comical as well, right? And that's what I know. So be safe, do good. No, be safe, do a random act of kindness. I don't know why I can't remember that. Be safe. Do a random act of kindness. They didn't shut down California on accident. This is a scary time. Practice a little bit. Keep showing up. Don't show up tomorrow. Tomorrow we have the day off because I got to get a haircut. So to nothing tomorrow. I will try to post another piece or two if I have time on our list. If I don't, you got plenty to keep you busy. And then like and subscribe, and remember tonight's member concert. So if you are a member of the website, swing by, and I put up 2 or 3 new pieces on that page over there, and they're all hard. So if you want a challenge, you got plenty to keep yourself busy in the member section. So there we go. You guys have a wonderful day. I'm going to pull the plug, and I will see all of you Wednesday.